All right. So, hey guys, welcome to the show. This is Carl the Shark Shookert, and I'm super excited for today. Guess what? I'm going to be going over and dropping serious knowledge and nuggets. The last couple of days were very basic stuff, but I still went into some intricates of marketing online and a little bit of offline. So today what I want to do is actually get into more immediate, like intermediate stuff. I don't want to be so stuck in the basics. The basics are awesome. We talked about how important they are. We talked about how that's the foundation, the brick layering of your foundation to building your big, beautiful business, the one that you've always dreamed about. But before I get started, I do have a couple of disclaimers I have to say before every single show, at least. I have to say a disclaimer because my results are going to be different than your results. My results could be considered not typical. I don't really know, but I just know that mine could be not typical. What I do know is that if I put in the type of work, I seem to get whatever I take internally and I learn and I put back out, I seem to get back in. So no matter what, even if it's not the results I wanted, I still learn a lot and still people continue to grow within the following and people continue to be a part of our message as a group. Now, I believe in this thing called RAS, and I'll get in that in a minute. But my disclaimer is also I'm not an attorney or a CPA. So if I give tax advice, if I talk about the screwed up economy, if I say anything that an attorney would be allowed to say or a CPA would be allowed to say, take it with a grain of salt because I'm not a CPA and I'm not an attorney. I just have a vast background in insurance and I've dealt with these areas before, but I cannot take responsibility for you. And if you take some of those, take it for whatever it is. Just remember that this is the disclaimer that I want to start out with, is that my results are my results and your results are your results. You're responsible for your results and I'm responsible for my results. The only thing I can do is show you how I've done it, what I've learned, and pass the knowledge, pass the baton on to you. So now that we got that over, let's go ahead and jump into it. So today, what I'm really excited about too is the fact that we're gonna give away another $100. If you haven't signed up yet, you can go to sharkcontest.com, sign up right now and start sharing. The more you share and also the more you love, and the more you help me get my message out, it's basically my ethical bribe. You will have better chances to earn $50 PayPal. So today, at some point, we're going to give away two $50 PayPals immediately. The other thing is if you're just joining us and you want to make sure that you stay in the know, make sure you join schoolofshark.net. Go to schoolofshark.net, sign up for the push notifications, sign up for the free membership. And if you do that, you will be guaranteed I'll be able to notify you as soon as we do our live cast. I'm going to be taking this on the road. I'm going to 5 different cities here really soon. So that you'll have access to those as we do them live, which is pretty fun if you've been on some of the ones in the past. And also on top of that, you will actually get access and recordings of all of the School of Shark trainings that we do. We're gonna put them on Facebook Live as much as we possibly can, but there's also some training on there. There's a training in there on how to use the site. There's a training in there on a Facebook hack that I found that makes sure that you can see our message when we do go live. So make sure you like, love, heart. If you feel like I'm giving you guys true value, make sure to give us hearts. I heard that the hearts actually have a little bit, they actually help you spread your message out a little bit more. So we're relying on Facebook today. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Facebook will actually come through today like they didn't do yesterday. Yesterday we had to cut through 3 different times, actually I think even a 4th time, to get the whole video. I had to redo parts that I already talked about. And that's okay because we were able to reiterate it and re-get the message out. And then also, like I said, that's all set up at schoolofshark.net. So remember that's a .net. So let's just jump into it today. So what I first want to talk to you guys about is, first I want to get into the history of marketing, okay? So the history of marketing, let's think about this for a minute. There was a time and a place when, let me ask you guys, have you guys seen the show The Little House on the Prairie? I might be dating myself a little bit here. Michael Landon was the main character of that show, or one of the main characters of the show. He's a phenomenal person if anybody knows who he was, but he's old, he's an old time show. Bonanza, I'd never even seen Bonanza, but I live up here in Lake Tahoe where they filmed it. My mom actually used to work on the set, which is kind of crazy, up at a Ponderosa Ranch. But Michael Landon was a special person, and that show took place in like the 1800s at some point. I don't know if it was like 1860 or 1890 or something, some point around there. So at that point, think about this. This is the only time that you could see like print marketing. You would see like the wanted signs. There'd be a wanted sign that would come up and it'd be like, you know, Joe Smith, the murderer of blah, 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 right? Wanted, $500 reward. That was an advertisement. Think about it. That was actually an advertisement. But what about products? What about food? What about milk? What about all that stuff? A lot of that stuff, you had to be a farmer and you had to make your own stuff. You had to go out and milk the cows. You had to go out and pick the what do you call it, the grains, the family, the men, you know, the women, the men back then had a little bit of separation. So the women were more gatherers. They were like that ones that would pick the fruit and stuff. The men would go out and go and hunt and get deer and buffalo and cattle or whatever they could find to bring back home, or fish, and then they would eat. And this is how they would work. But then something happened. There was a guy, I don't know the name, there was a guy that started pulling wagons with supplies. All the supplies would be on the back, and I'm just giving you the story, okay? All the supplies in the back, and he would come to your house, and you would basically order like a catalog. You would tell the guy like, hey, you're gonna come back next month. I mean, these guys would go on journey. So I would like to order some jerky. I'd like to order some, like, whatever stuff, rugs. I'd like to order some, you know, some clothes, anything that you could possibly need to get, or you'd have to make it yourself, because they would have to go so far to get into a little city or a little town that still didn't have a lot of stuff, but it had certain things and certain services that you could still get. But these people would actually go and bring the strip mall to your house in a sense, right? So that's kind of where the marketing stuff first started happening. And then the newspapers, the media, you know, the car manufacturers, believe it or not, like Ford, he actually owned his own media. He actually would he would purposely plant media, like he would actually purposely do things that would actually give him more clout, or would put him in front of more people. So he would do like these, you know, whatever you call it, like he would do these stunts. He would say like, every person should do this. And then people would follow that because he owned the media. He was able to do it. So anyway, that's the first thing, was newspapers. And you could buy like little articles and stuff like that in newspapers. And then later on, going into, I think like the 30s, right around then, well, maybe a little bit before then, you had the radio come out. The transistor radio would come out, where you'd had to like tune it in and woo, 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 and you'd listen to like maybe the president, or you listen to somebody that you know was a political figure, or someone that was a leader, and you'd listen to their great big speech, and everybody in the family would gather around and listen to it. And they figured out that they could have commercials during that time, and they had phones, switch system phones back then, so they could actually call in orders and stuff like that. So that was actually where that started happening. And then after that, the black and white TV came out. And also we had mail. So I did miss that one. We did have mail before we had the Pony Express and stuff like that. So we had mail back then that would actually mail stuff out. So that was like the physical mail that would come out in the mail. We still get tons and tons of trash mail. And I call it trash mail because it goes through your mailbox and it goes into the trash, and it's just a waste of paper, unfortunately. But most of us have become sort of banner blind to these ads that come into us. But it doesn't mean that some of them don't get through. They do. There's a percentage. It's a very low percentage, but that doesn't matter, because the company that's selling something knows that it could still be profitable, and they know the sales copy is still going to convert when they send it. So even hard mail today still works very, very good. In fact, I got a piece of mail. It was handwritten from a very well-known marketer recently, and of course I opened it up and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. So cool, I got to see that works very simply and very easily, and it was very personal too. That was kind of the cool thing about it. So then after that, you had the black and white TVs, tons of ads going on there, production, movies, stuff like that. They had movies, they had ads at movies and stuff going on, but now they could bring it into your home, which was great for the marketing industry, because now they could actually bring in the cigarette ads and the alcohol ads and the ones that spent glorious amounts of money into getting their message directly to the consumer at their home, where they're comfortable, because people make buying decisions usually where they're comfortable the most, which is at home. So typically people do, but things do change. And so from TV to color TV, and then we can fast forward into the mid to 1990s. So 1996, 97, 98, 99, we had the internet explosion. If you guys remember the stock market then, if you got in at like AOL back then, you got into Yahoo back then, you got into any of the internet marketing, any of the tech companies, they had the bubble, right? So in 2000 or 1999, 2000, I believe that's when that bubble happened. But that was when the explosion, people understood. It was so new, no one really trusted it yet. But they understood that the power of it was so great that it was going to be such an opportunity for people to sink their businesses into. And in fact, there was a company that was a friend of mine, like a girl that I used to date. She actually had a lot of money, and I just was watching the stock markets blow up, and I was like, hey, go put money in this account. It immediately made like $100,000 in a week. So it was crazy. And she was in and she was out and she made money. So I was like, wow, cool. That was awesome. But then everybody lost money, whoever stuck in there for the long run. But now things are changing again. The internet is now easier for consumers to use because now we're at the, the internet could be considered a teenager, like an adolescent teenager, and in the older teens, maybe even early 20s at this point. I'm not really sure the exact dates, maybe 20s right now, but think about that. That's how young it is. And think about how far the whole thing has changed. The whole internet complexity of it has changed because now it's easier, like I said, for consumers to use. Now you can use tools online and quickly build landing pages and quickly build lead magnets and quickly build sales pages and quickly build now funnels where you can increase your return of investment for the traffic that you bring in. So that's kind of like the marketing, where it's changed, the actual history of marketing. I did miss a couple of things in there, like strip malls and stuff like that, but these things are now starting to go by the wayside because the online e-com industry is literally taking over, because it's eliminating the expense of having to have a storefront for companies. So because they're eliminating that, the consumer is actually able to save a few bucks on products and stuff like that. So it's an interesting time we live in, and what I'm telling you guys is that the opportunity is greater than ever because there's only 1 billion people on the internet so far. I mean, there might be a few more. There might be closer to 2 billion, but the fact is that there's 7 billion people in the world. And of course, right now, all the commerce is mainly the US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, maybe a few, Singapore, a few other countries as well, China and stuff like that. There's a few other countries that are definitely starting to blow up and definitely starting to get it all. And it's all coming into place with whoever has the money. Japan, all these countries that have the money, they're all starting to finally accept and trust the internet for what it is. Because now, like I said earlier, like I said yesterday, I was talking about your reputation online is measured more than it ever has before. It's because they're eliminating all the scammy, spammy stuff that happens on the internet and only trying to help true businesses and people that are actually want to build a name for themselves. And so I've actually seen in this industry, unfortunately, I've seen that people had to reinvent themselves. But the beautiful thing is no matter what background you come from, you have the opportunity to reinvent yourself. So that was the first part I wanted to get you guys, let you know about. Let me go check. Are we still online? I'm hoping we're not going to have these problems again. Let me refresh my computer here. Double check. Looks like we're all online. Everything looks good on my end, as far as I can tell. Let's see here. Yep, cool. Just want to make sure we're online, make sure we're live. Guys, are you excited? Are you guys learning something? This is cool, right? You guys now just got a little bit of insight on the history of marketing, not necessarily internet marketing, because everything comes from internet marketing. Everything comes from marketing as it is. Bill McIntosh says he also had major glitches on the... So yeah, yesterday I've had major glitches, but today I seem to be okay. We seem to be going good. So that's awesome to hear. Awesome to hear. So make sure you guys love, make sure you give hearts, make sure that you're spreading the message. I almost kind of feel like that Facebook is maybe sabotaging their own system right now, because I was able to get hundreds of people online live through my phone, but for whatever reason on my own site, on my own personal site, we're not getting the same kind of love here. So it's a very strange thing going on, and it might actually hurt Facebook. I might actually go back to Periscope if it keeps looking like this. I might go to YouTube's going to come into play here soon, guys. They're going to actually come out with their own app here really soon, and they're going to be a major player because YouTube is owned by Google. And of course, if you use that new technology, there's a good chance that Google will actually give you a higher reach on search engine based off your topic. So we might actually move over if Facebook keeps running like this. This is definitely a little bit disappointing on my end. All right, so let's get into the next thing, which is lead magnets. Do you guys want to learn about lead magnets? So let's talk about lead magnets. I know, here it is in my pocket. I know that we were talking a lot about funnels yesterday, and we talked about the e-com funnel, the tripwire funnel, the free plus shipping and handling funnel, and then also we talked a little bit about the launch model, which is great. And some of that stuff was a little bit more, it definitely wasn't as beginner or basic. It definitely was a little bit more next level, but I have a feeling that you guys were still following along really well, because I could tell from some of the, like Robert, you were telling me that it basically had basically said that it cleared up a lot of things for you that you were currently having issues with. So that's really cool. So let's talk about a lead magnet. So see if we can see that on our screen. Looks like it. So what is a lead magnet? Well, a lead magnet is basically an opt-in page. So it's an opt-in page. They also call them squeeze pages. And there's a lot of different ones that I have in there. There's usually they'll test. You can split test this. And that's what I would do on any funnel that you have that you're trying to create leads, is I would split test. So I would split test this, right? So A and B. And basically, I would try one that has a little form on here that says free to join, has a little sign up sheet, and then they can put their email and their name, or just their email. They found that statistically that if you just stick the email in, that it's less work for someone to do, so they'll have a higher probability of giving it to you. But again, that's up to you on exactly how you want to do that, because maybe you want their name, because when you do decide to market to them, you may want to start with, hey Carl, or hey John, or hey Stephanie, or hey Bob. Hey Bob, this is Carl, just want to let you know it seems more personalized when it comes out, right? So you could do that. And then another one could be like a full page. It has like a little video, little information here, some headline on top, has where it says and it has an arrow that's basically directing you to scroll down. So it's a little bit more native. And then somewhere either on the bottom could have your opt-in form as well. And then you could have what you call an exit pop. And what an exit pop is basically a form that if someone tries to exit, pops down and goes over on the site and has a call to action to go to a thank you page, which both of these would go into a thank you page. And on your thank you page is where you'd have your downloads. Okay, so on your thank you page, you would have your downloads. So it could be like an ebook, or it could be what do you call it? It could be like a checklist. Could be what else could it be? It could be a blueprint. Okay, these are the things that people like the most. It could be free training. Okay, it just depends. It really all just depends, right? So it could be free training, it could be a free book, it could be literally whatever you want it to be necessarily, right? So it could be based off what you think these people are going to like the most. Now, this is what I would also test when you're sending traffic here, right? So you would look at, okay, so if I got 100 people to click through to here, okay, what is my conversion rate between both of these? So let's say this one got 10 conversions, and let's say this one got 20 conversions that went to this thank you page. So basically then you would know, okay, well, B is the winner. B is obviously the winner. It looks nicer, it's more native. People have to scroll down, but if they do try to leave, they get the exit pop letting them know, hey, before you leave, download this free book. All you need to do is give us your email address or something like that. So it's a very good and easy way to build traffic, and this is something you can constantly. So now that once you have B and you eliminate A, okay, because A didn't do very good, B did good. Out of 100 clicks to both sides, so really it would be 200 clicks, this one converted at 20%. Now what you can do is go, well, gosh, maybe I can get better than 20%. 20% might be good, but you know, it just depends. I mean, maybe you're spending, depends on what you're spending per click, right? So if you're spending, you know, $1 per click, then you're looking at spending $100 for 20 leads, right? You've got 20 leads for $100, but it just depends on that lead. Like, is that lead considered a warm lead, a hot lead, a cold lead? Where's the traffic coming from? Is the traffic hot, cold, and warm as well? Are you indoctrinating them into anything? So that is the beginning of it again. But these are the things you need to look at. So what I would look at personally as a marketer, I would say to myself, okay, what can I do to increase this to maybe 30, 34%? What do I need to do? How can I do that? Okay, so there's a couple things you can do, which would be different sources of traffic. Remember, yesterday we talked all about traffic. We really dived deep into different sources of traffic. So we could try different traffic sources. We could change this, right? We can change the creative of this. I could go out and say, okay, this is being profitable. Let's say every lead I get, costs me $20 or something like that. So for every lead that I get, it's costing me a little bit of money, but what is the return? So right after I've got their email, then am I putting them into a funnel somewhere? Right? So if they were interested in XYZ product, whatever that product might be, it could be like copywriting, could be about e-com, it could be about Facebook ads, could be about a lot of things, right? So it's like, what is hot right now? What is relevant? Are you going after that target with your traffic? And then once you're sending your traffic into this lead magnet, what is your cost per click and what is your cost per lead? And then how do I increase this? How do I make this better? So I can continue to do a B version. So I can come out with a B version of this. Okay, I can change colors. I can try different headlines. Okay, the headlines are huge. There's this thing called above the fold. And the above the fold is basically before you scroll. So what's the information that they're going to get before you scroll up and down onto your site, right? So is this information capturing the audience? Is it getting them to go for it? Okay, is it getting them to say, yes, give me the free gift? So free is one of the best marketing words in the world because everybody likes free. But being an offline marketer, one thing that I've noticed is that free gets you in the door, but then it also gets you in the door with skepticism. And I'm probably pretty sure that it does the same thing online too, because everybody knows that whatever's free, there's always a catch, right? There's always going to be a catch. So it might be something to put in your sales copy, like when they go and they come in here and say, no catch. That would be a good sales copy. No catch, free download. Okay, could be that, right? So it could be like no catch, free download. So immediately you're dropping the guard of someone that's skeptic right away anyway. Most people are skeptics, okay, because they've been burned everywhere they go. Sometimes things happen, they're opportunists and stuff like that. If they're opportunist people, they realize that not everything is like that and they're willing to look at everything they possibly can because you can't know everything. Like, I'm always learning. In fact, that's something I could talk a little bit about too right now and break away from this for a second, is that if you're not learning, you're dying. And what I mean by that is if you're not learning something to take yourself to the next level, you're literally not living life. You're not positioning yourself in a way where you can actually capitalize and make more money in life and in business and stuff like that. You're not going to get yourself around other people. So what I've done is I've learned that the more people I get myself around, the more experiences I can learn from other people, and also the more books that I read, the more courses that I take, the more information that I can learn, the better I have to make decisions going forward. I don't mind spending money when it comes to products like these, because for me, what I do is I record myself. If I see something that's like this, it's not that hard to figure out. I actually will literally take my camera or take my phone camera, I'll set it up. I've got all these tripods. I'll set it up and I will record myself, and I'll watch myself going through the sales process. Usually I've already made a decision, because the decision to buy something is a millisecond. It's a split decision. But something like this needs to pop out within 7 seconds. It needs to pop out in the face of the person within 7 seconds. And then you have to have a message with some sort of knowledge or something that they would want, something that's going to go and be specially designed and built for that audience. That's the cool thing about Facebook marketing. That's the cool thing about AdWords, okay? The fact that those two services have so much data out there that you can actually find the people that you resonate the best with you, okay? Now there's a lot more complexity to it that we can get into when we get into the advanced training side. But on the intermediate side, just know that you can actually literally, almost anybody could go to Facebook, they can go to audiences, they can start looking up audiences immediately and start saving those audiences, so that way they could use that to immediately start sending a message to those people whenever they're online on Facebook. The fact that you can do that, that is where you can start building these lead magnets going into something greater. So I could build a lead magnet that is giving me a 20% conversion ratio, and then I can start tweaking stuff to try to get 38%, maybe even a little bit higher. You never know. That could be coming down to tweaks with the traffic too, where the traffic is coming from and how well am I actually targeting that traffic. So you guys getting this? I want to see if you guys are live. People that are live, are you guys getting this? And awesome. We have the best people in the world online. So I'm going to click off, I'm going to refresh.